I'm going to demonstrate the fueling process. The first thing you'll need is the aircraft keys, which has the fuel truck computer key on it. You'll also have to take note of the Hobbs hours on the aircraft to put those in the computer when we get to that step. The first thing you'll do is turn on the battery switch. You want to go ahead and position the ladder by the airplane and also put on the wing protective cover. You have 3 minutes once the fuel truck starts to begin the fueling process, so you want to have everything in place before that. You want to position the ladder where it's comfortable for you. You don't want it to be too awkward. And you want to go ahead and put the protective cover over the wing. The next step is to install the static cord clip. The static cord is very important to dissipate static electricity before the fueling process. There are two places you can attach the static cord to. One is the exhaust, and two, the left wing tie down. To lock the cord in place, simply pull it until it clicks and locks. The next step is to pull out the fuel hose. To do this, it's locked in place. You lift up the latching handle and pull out on the nozzle. And then you pull it out to the right wing of the airplane. Make sure you pull the hose out far enough that you have some slack so that you can get up on top of the left wing. Also, when you set the nozzle down, it can be damaged easily. Set it down beside the ladder. Don't drop it or drag it. Now that you have your hose and your static cord in position and ladder, you're ready to start the fuel computer and start the truck. To start the computer on self-test, you push the green on button. The computer will go through a self-test until it gets to 010000. At this point, hit S1 and push enter, and it will ask you for a key. You will take your personal key that you get from the checkout, lift the key door, put the key in and turn it to the right. It will ask you for your PIN number. You put your PIN number in and you hit enter. It will read the key and ask you to remove it. Then it asks you to install the aircraft key. You do the same thing, put it in, turn it to the right. The door must be shut flush against the key. And it asks for the aircraft hours, and you put in your aircraft hours and hit enter. At this point, it will validate the key to the aircraft. Once it's validated, it will latch the battery to the computer, and it will say pump is running. At this point, you're ready to start the truck. You simply push the start button until the engine starts. Before engaging the pump, if you want to keep track of the gallons you put in the airplane, simply zero the gallons counter and then engage the pump with the red handle. Now you're ready to fuel. Always take the nozzle up on the outboard side away from the windshield to eliminate any chance of scratching the windshield. Remove the cap, laying it on the pad. Always put the nozzle straight into the hole. Don't leave the nozzle by itself leaning against the hole. You'll crack out the doubler on the top of the wing, and some of the fuel tanks are hard to come by. Squeeze the nozzle to start fueling. The fuel will come out at 40 gallons per minute, full regulation, so you'll want to kind of regulate it yourself by hand. Once you've added the correct amount of fuel, shake the nozzle where it's dry, install the cap, and move to the other wing. After fueling the right wing, bring the nozzle and hose to the left wing. Again, setting it on the ground. Then bring the ladder and the protective cover around the front of the engine. Positioning the ladder, installing the protective cover, and bringing the nozzle up to the wing over the outboard shoulder and going through the same process as you did on the right wing. After fueling the left wing, you're ready to rewind the hose. Bring the hose and nozzle to the truck, setting the nozzle below the computer. Next, disengage the pump so you don't have pressure on the hose and nozzle when you rewind the hose. To rewind the hose, you push the rewind button, use your foot to guide the hose into the reel. Bring the nozzle to within about a foot of the latch. Then simply push the nozzle into place, shutting off the fueling process. At this point, you can remove the key, push the red computer off button to disengage the computer and turn it off. Then turn off the battery switch on the truck. To rewind the static cord, simply disconnect the alligator clip, pull the cord to unlock the locking mechanism on the rewind, and walk the cord back in. Don't let the cord rewind automatically. When it gets to the end, it will tear the alligator clip off the end of the cable. Now that you've completed the fueling process, you need to put the ladder away and the protective cover. You're now finished with the fueling process. Now's a good time to walk towards the airplane, look around it, make sure everything's cleared and stowed, that you didn't leave a static line hooked up or leave the hose reeled out or a key on the truck. It's also a good time to finish your pre-flight inspection. Make sure that your fuel caps are secured, make sure you sump the tanks before you taxi away. Now that you've watched the video, you're ready to be checked out for the remote fueling. I'd like to point out a couple of other things before we close. Emergency. Emergency procedures will be on a page on the back of the checklist, which will be with the truck. They'll also be in the bylaws. You can get a copy of them in the Flying Club office, and you'll also see one in the back seat of each aircraft. In case of fuel spill or fire, all the appropriate contact phone numbers will be listed on the back sheet of the checklist of the emergency procedures.